Well, to end this first little set, I'm going to play you a gospel song. But before I do that, I want to tell you something about Dutch honesty. So I've learned, this is something, I've decided I'm going to call it Dutch honesty. There's been 2 times now that I've had run-ins, well, not necessarily run-ins, but I've had like dudes. Well, it's not just dudes. It was one dude and one old lady. But they've made comments about my weight right to my face. So, and okay, so I'll tell you about well, actually, and then there was a third Dutch honesty experience last night that I'll tell you about by another dude. So, when I came over last April with my friend Jay Nash, who I know some of y'all know his music, he's a wonderful, wonderful singer-songwriter and just a great friend. And he actually, I have to say, yesterday I realized I'm so grateful to him because he brought me over with him last April and gave me the opportunity to come to your country, which, I mean, I love coming here, and I really just enjoy being in Holland. It's fun, and the people are so nice, and it feels really comfortable, and so I enjoy it. So I'm really grateful to Jay. But, so Jay and I, when we came over last year, we did sort of a hodgepodge of things. Like really, everybody worked hard to kind of include me, which, again, is just so nice. But, I played kind of in his band for a couple of shows, and then he shared a couple of house concerts with me and opened for him a couple of times. And so one of the band shows that we did, he had this guy playing bass for him, and he had one of those names of y'all's that I can't remember. It was a funny name, and I can't remember it. It's probably best that I don't remember it because it's probably not good that I'm gossiping about him all over Holland. But anyway, so he was a super nice guy, and and we were talking, and he said, "Well, tell me about your music." And I said, "Well, he said, let's look on YouTube." And I said, "Okay." And I didn't think to choose to be strategic about the video that I would choose, to make me look good or whatever. I just thought, well, I'm on YouTube. Go figure, just pick something. So he's looking on YouTube, and, in retrospect, he chose a video where, it might have not been the best I've ever looked, okay? But so he's watching the video, and I'm thinking, I remember thinking, God, I don't look like that anymore, I don't know. But he's watching the video, and he turns to me, and he goes, "Oh," he goes, "You are much heavier in this video, yes?" And I was just like, dude, no wonder you have an ex-wife. I mean, that's what you say to a female? I'm like, listen, let's go get a drink and discuss this, Anyway, so that was the first. I was just like, man, Dutch honesty. Like, I got to quit eating those strip waffles, So that was the first thing. And, it was, I really carried that around for a little while. I was kind of irritated, and then I let it go. Well, then, so we played a gig. I played a gig earlier in the week in Maastricht. Is that how you say it? And there was this woman there who, now I feel like it's her fault that I got sick because she left because she had the flu, okay? Now that I'm angry at her, I remember this. But anyway, her name was Francine. Francine. It wasn't just like, hey, I'm Francine. I'm Francine! She made this huge deal about it, and she was like, I'm here alone, but it's okay. I like it. My friend has the flu. And I was like, oh, nice to meet you. So it's Francine. So I talked to her for a little while. And so my friend Susan and Peter were there. And I look over, and Francine is just she's looking at, it was not, the picture that they chose, again, it wasn't the most flattering, but whatever. So, and my hair has changed colors. This is a picture of me when I had blonde hair, which was the thing that Francine was having a problem with. So, she's looking at the picture, and she's looking at me, and she was like, your hair, oh, it's not the same. I was like, what is your deal, who cares, so it's okay. So then I go away, and I look over, and she's doing this. She's talking to Susan and Peter, and she's going like, she's looking at the picture, and then she's looking at me, and she's going, oh, yeah. So I'm like, what the hell? So I go over there, and I thought I heard her say kinky. I thought I heard her say, oh, kinky. And I was just like, oh, this is weird. Like, I gotta know what she's saying. So I go to Susan. I'm like, what is she saying? And Susan's dying out laughing and can't even, get it together to tell me. I was like, what the hell? She was like, oh, well, she said, and then once I got over there, before Susan had a chance to tell me what she said, she looked at me, she goes, in your picture, you are skinny, but I see in person, no, you are not. I was just like, what the? So anyway, those are my two Dutch honesty stories. And when I told that story last night at the gig that we did, this guy, this really tall, skinny guy, comes up to me and he goes, "Listen, Dutch honesty's a good thing. I mean, I've been to America and a lot of the women over there are just fat. They're just fat." He goes, "I'm going to tell you what, Dutch honesty keeps our women thin over here, you know." We just tell them, "You can't get fat." And so they're like, "Oh, okay, we won't get fat." I'm like, "Are you serious?" I'm like, I looked at him, I said, "I don't even know what you're saying right now, but there is a part of what you're saying that makes sense." But so anyway, I've decided that that there is something special about Dutch honesty, but it maybe just should be massaged just a little bit, just a little bit. So anyway, there you go, Dutch honesty. It's a very special thing. It's kind of like the South, where people want to tell you what they think, but they just can't be that direct about it. They'll kind of tell you what they think, and then they'll gossip about you behind your back. So I guess Dutch honesty is better than that. All right, so this is a gospel song. It's called "The Train That's Bound for Glory." It has no bearing whatsoever on that story I just told you. After this, we're going to take maybe like a 15-minute break or so. You guys can down some wine or whatever, and then we'll sing some more songs. We'll sing some more songs. Thanks for listening. And no one knows when it will come, but when it does, I will be ready, and I will meet my Lord above. When I hear that whistle blowing, no longer will I roam, but when the train bound for glory is calling me back home. So many years that I have wandered, lost and alone, out in the dark. They say that train is gonna heal what's broken, and love will fill my empty heart. Hey, when I hear that whistle blowing, hey, no longer will I roam. When the train is bound for glory is calling me back home. Trust nobody, 'cause I was too afraid to be let down. But when that train comes a-calling for me, oh, I will lay all my burdens in the ground. Hey, yeah, when I hear that whistle blowing, no longer will I roam. Oh, now the train's bound for glory. It's calling me back home. Hey, when I hear that whistle blowing.